Hi everyone, it's Miss Kate.
And Miss Hazel's over here too.
Today we're doing one of our favorite things. We're doing paper mache. And today, I thought it'd be really fun if we made a snake.
Yeah.
It is tricky, I gotta tell you. This was the first one I did, and you're gonna see it's gonna look a little different when we make it. But it has a wire inside, and then newspaper and masking tape is how we built the structure.
Miss
So I'm going
Kate,
to put this
did
over.
the snake come to you in a dream?
It didn't come to me in a dream, but I did think about it a lot over the weekend. I thought, I want to make a snake. How can I make a snake? So we have some thick wire. I think that you could use a wire hanger, but it would be really hard to straighten out. So I'm going to say use it and try it, but I think it would be really hard. I think you could also do this without wire and just roll up the newspaper to make it happen.
Maybe an extra piece of newspaper in there?
Yeah, to make it stiff enough. But we had this wire, I don't know, from something.
Probably gave us.
No, I think we actually bought this or something, but I don't remember what it was for. So it was all curled up. It was like it was a crazy mess that I just pulled out. So this one's a little bit twisted too. But what I did was I took the wire. I took two pieces of newspaper, folded them in a triangle, put those together, taped them, and then I took the wire and I taped that onto the newspaper, and then I rolled it up. So it's a few steps that have to happen. You see how it just moves when it wants to? So I'm going to show you quickly how to do this, and I'll switch over to the piece I already did. But this is how I did it, and this is really just practicing and figuring it out, because that first one I did, but I realized it would be really hard to get it to stand up. So then I folded over here, more tape. We're going to use a lot of tape in this one. Fold it over this side. And once again, thanks to my brother Tom, we have plenty of newspaper because I know it's awesome. So now I'm going to roll this up. I'm using both hands. And I'm going to tell you something that I just forgot to do, so I'm going to do it quickly. It is better if you already have a couple of pieces of tape ready to go, because so I'm putting them on the side of my table. Because when you get to the end, you need to get it taped up quickly before it unrolls. So I got this side done. I'm going to take one of those pieces of tape, tape it like this, take another piece, tape that tail end down here.
So, Miss Kate, if
Yes.
friends are watching this video and they need to stop and go back, and they could do that, right?
Yes, that would make it much easier, because I did go fast on that part. And because this is my 1, 2, 3, 4, 5th time I've done this part, I'm pretty fast at it now.
Yeah.
I wasn't fast when I did the first one. I had to figure this out. Now I'm kind of folding it in half again and taping it. And taping it.
Wow, making it a little skinnier.
Yes, and I think also a little stronger. But like I said, this was just, it took all these tries to try and get with one that I thought would work for everybody, and one that would stand, because this one only stands if you put it in the right position. Mm-hmm. And then I did this. So of course I was going to skip to the other one. So this is all done now. So I don't really need this one after all. Let me put that one to the side. But I'm using a base. So one of them has foam core. This is a piece of corrugated plastic that our friends at Speed Pro gave us from the ends of some signs. I'm going to use that as my base, because what I found was that it is easier to build it on a base.
You could use a little piece of wood. Yeah,
or cardboard. Cardboard would work too. You just have to have, I just found it was easier if I, so I'm going to have his tail go up a little bit. This is going to be his tail. I thought it was easier if I taped it down to my base so that it would stay. But again, it doesn't really want to stay because that wire is strong. So I'm adding, this is what I'm telling you, I'm using a lot of tape because it really wants to just pop up.
And you're going to cover that all up with your paper mache.
Yeah, so it doesn't even matter. So like, look at this. There's lots of tape, but it doesn't matter because you're going to cover it up. I'm going to curl it a little bit more.
Ooh.
And see, every one of them is a little bit different. And then I'll scrunch over his head a little bit. But that wire helped in this situation because I can bend it and it will sort of stay for me. So now Another couple of pieces of tape, and I think this one's good. Now I also want the tail to be a little bit more narrow, so I'm going to add a little bit more tape right there. So this is one of those ones I can just kind of build as I go and makes decisions about it as I'm moving along. And also I'm a little worried that this is not going to stay, so I'm adding more tape, if you can believe that. So now we have the beginning of the snake. So here's another one, because I keep making them. I can't stop myself.
And they're all perfect, Miss Kate, each with a different kind of
they
shape.
all will look a little bit different, and then it's how you paint it in the end is really what is going to happen. So here's another one that I did. This one kind of curled itself this way, and its tail is over here. It's looking. On that one, I added a piece of newspaper to make a tongue. But here's the fun part for me.
When it was all done, you could tape a little piece of felt for a tongue, too.
Yes, you could. That would probably be easier. Or even a piece of construction paper.
Yeah.
You could do anything you wanted to do on that one.
Mm-hmm.
So now I'm going to put on my gloves.
Oh, she remembered her gloves, friends.
I had to put them right beside me so I'd remember to put them on today. Again, you don't really need to, but for this purpose, and because we don't have a sink in here, I'm going to wear my gloves. So if you've been with us before, you know that the recipe we've been using lately is a 2-to-1 ratio of flour to water. So for instance, if you had a cup of flour, you'd add 2 cups of water and then use a whisk, or in this case, I'm using a fork to really stir it all up. And then we're doing it a little bit differently today, how we're going to put it on. Because this is going to use a lot of this, and you don't want it to get super soggy or rip your newspaper. Sometimes when we put it in, we pull it back out like this, which works for a lot of things, but in this case, it's going to rip. So what I'm going to do instead, you're not going to believe this, I'm going to get my hands, instead, I'm going to get my hands wet. Oh, and remember I put newspaper down on my surface too to keep it from getting too messy.
This is a good outside project.
Oh, it's a really good outside project. We're not doing it outside, as you can see, but it would be much better to do it outside. So I'm just wrapping this piece of newspaper around, and it's not very wet because I didn't put it into the mixture. I got my hands wet, and now I'm massaging that into this. And I'll just keep going like that until I cover the whole thing. And then I have to let it dry because now it's going to be super wet.
So you're wrapping
I'm wrapping the newspaper around. That one just ripped because it got a little bit wet.
Dry newspaper. The
yes.
Dry newspaper around.
And then I'm getting my hands goopy and putting those on.
Wow.
I read this technique online. I was doing some more research about paper mache and kind of looking to see what other people do. And because I like the way we do it, but then I thought, what do other people do?
And it's always good to learn something new.
Mm-hmm. It is. So I'm going to rip this piece and I'm going to wrap it around here. Again, getting my hands wet. And I'm going to go around this guy the whole way like that until I've covered his whole body. I don't know why I'm calling him a he, but I am. And remember, you're always going to smooth it and go over it a few times. I'm probably going to put 2 to 3 layers of newspaper on to make sure it's super strong. And then when it's done, so I'm going to stop here on that one.
How long are you going to let it dry, Miss Kate?
Well, at least overnight, but you've got to check and see if it's actually really dry. So I have to take my gloves off. This one is really dry because I made it a few days ago. So this one's super dry already. And now I can paint it. I probably would have made this a little bit shorter had I thought it out. But this is now stuck to this piece of corrugated plastic. It won't come up. And now I can paint it. I can paint the surface and I can paint the snake and create. It could be a real looking snake. It could be a snake that you just think about. Doesn't really matter. One of my favorite snakes though is a corn snake. Have you ever seen one?
Are they green?
No, they're yellow. They're so pretty. And they're at, I saw one at the Lawrence Hall of Science a few times and we got to pet it. It feels really nice and it's a beautiful color.
So you could look up online different kind of snakes to get ideas unless you already know about snakes.
Yes. Like this one, I don't think the snake really exists in real life, but I was having fun doing little arrows on the back and then doing lines all around the sides. And then I used some gold paint with black eyeballs. I have pupils for it.
Nice job, Miss Kate.
Well, thanks. So everyone, again, if you make this and you take a picture and put it on Instagram and hashtag Alameda Arts Fun, we will be able to see it. And then we'll be so happy to see what you've done. And if you like this, you can subscribe to us on our YouTube channel, Alameda Arts. And then if you want to see what else we're doing, check out our website, alamedaarts.com. Anything else?
Thanks for joining us again, friends.
Thanks. We'll see you next time. Have a good week. Bye, everybody.
Bye, friends.